What's going on? I'm Paul Amadeus Lane here on Get Vocal, the brand new format that allows you to do social media a little differently. You can interact, you can chat. And if you're watching this right now on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, come on over to the Get Vocal platform and you can join our conversation. After the vocal is done, you can jump in and chat and talk about our subject right here. We're talking about facing the challenge, especially when it comes to disabilities. As you all know, I've been disabled for over 25 years, and my next guest has been dealing with his disability his entire life. So let me bring him on. Tony Polanco, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great, Paul. As always, man, I love collaborating with you. And this is something that's a little bit different for us. Usually we talk about tech or games. So this will be kind of cool, talk about our disabilities, share our little stories and all that. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And to give you a little background on Tony, Tony is a member of the media like I am. He's a gaming editor, writer, got some really great stuff, really great write-ups. So you make sure you check him out. We'll give all his information at the end of the broadcast. But Tony, before we start and really delve into the challenges that you faced, why don't you share with us your disability, if you don't mind?
All right. So, for those who don't know, I was not born in this country. I was born in the Dominican Republic in the early 1980s, 1980 to be exact. And at that time, in the late 70s, early 80s, there was an epidemic of polio going around. Now, polio obviously was eradicated in America decades and decades days ago. It was still rampant in Dominican Republic, right? So all the kids, went to get vaccinated. I was actually born like normal, there was nothing wrong with me. And here's something a lot of people, I don't think you know this either. I actually had a twin brother, right? His name was Johnny. So, we were born, normal kids, right? And we went to get vaccinated. We got hit with the thing after we got vaccinated. We got hit with polio, we had a high fever. Obviously my brother he didn't make it, and because of that, I've just been unable to move my legs my entire life. I could move them a little bit. I can still feel everything down there, but I can't really get around. So that's how, I got to where I am right now.
And Tony's like me. We both use wheelchairs to get around, but it doesn't stop us. We keep it moving. We're like everywhere.
I ain't got time for that, man. We got to keep going, son.
No, we keep it moving. So Tony, how old were you when this happened to you?
Oh, 6 months old.
6 months old. Wow. So Tony, as you growing up in the DR before you moved to the United States, when did you know that you were a little bit do things a little bit different than your friends?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, it wasn't like it was a subtle thing. It was obvious I couldn't walk, you know what I'm saying? And back in DR, I'm just being real right now. I didn't even have a wheelchair. I just crawled around everywhere. We didn't have anything like that down there, So like it was very obvious to me that I didn't, I couldn't do things other kids do. But weirdly enough, it didn't bother me. I'm being honest right now. I didn't like other kids because other kids acted too immature for me. They would try to mess with my toys and stuff. I was very organized when I was a kid, I was like, don't touch my stuff. So that's what I'm like, listen, I don't want kids. I just want to chill at my house, watch TV, play with my toys, leave me alone. So that didn't really bother me. It's kind of interesting. It's like I grew up with this, impairment. My childhood was lovely. I loved my childhood. I think it was better than, don't get me wrong. I love my life now, but I was happy. I was going to say something, but I was very, very happy back then.
No, that's funny. And I'm glad you said that too, because, I look at me before I had my accident, I'm more happier now than I was before my accident. And it's because I had to use other senses that, I was kind of lazy before my accident. So now being able to have to figure out things and to just understand things and figure them out has really molded me into a different cat. If I wouldn't have had this accident, Tony, you probably wouldn't like me, man. I'd probably be like one of the immature kids in the DR that you didn't like. So Tony, what were some of the challenges, that you faced, by having polio, where there's some things that you had to overcome to get where you're at today when you were younger? Take us through your school days and even coming here to the United States.
Yeah. Okay. So because of the polio, my back was messed up. I'm forgetting the medical term, scoliosis, right? It was very bad. And the doctor said if I didn't get operated, I would be I would be dead by the time I was 10, So when I was 7, that's when we moved over to America. Thankfully, my mom had a friend in the American consulate. So all that was very smooth getting us over here. And this is something I actually learned a bunch of years later. When I was 9, we went back to DR. I thought we were on vacation, right? I thought it was like, okay, we're going there for the summer. Years later, my mom revealed to me that we went back there. Her plan was to permanently go back. She was not happy with in America, but she saw how easy things were for me here, all the accessibility. She's like, okay, I don't like America so much, but it's better for Tony, so I'm gonna, just stick with him. And ironically enough, she doesn't want to go back to DR now. She loves America, you know. But yeah, that's what happened. But again, it's a weird thing. It's like I had to deal with certain things that other people didn't, but it never bothered me. It's just like, okay, that's just life. This is just the way the things that I do. I'm always been that kind of person. It's like, if there's a challenge in front of me, just get over it. You know what I'm saying? Like figure out what the problem is. How do you go around it, and how do you execute? I've never really like sulked in it or gotten sad about it. Sometimes I think about, like, I might be missing some stuff, but it doesn't really bother me. And I'm going to be honest, one last thing. I was talking to my friend about this, and this is going to sound a little like related to what you said. This polio thing that happened to me is the best thing that could have happened to me. And this is why. If not for this, I'd probably be still living in DR, doing who knows what. What happened because of this, right? I'm living in the best city in the world. My condolences to Los Angeles. I'm living in the best city in the world. I'm doing a job that I love. And I'm being real, Paul. Like, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have met you and all these other friends I got. So I'm very, very thankful, man.
And that's the way I look at it too. If I didn't have my accident over 25 years ago, my life course wouldn't take me, where you and I got a chance to meet each other at E3 and hang out, and been good friends ever since. And Tony, have you ever had a friend or someone say to you, I don't know if I can go through what you go through? You ever had somebody say that to you?
Man, I still get that till this day, bro. It's insane to me. I'm like, hold on, how could you say it? Like, first of all, it's kind of messed up. If you really, it wasn't until I was an old man. That's kind of messed up to say to somebody, but I get that all the time. But like I told you, I was like, listen, man, this is just the way I live. Everybody, even if it's not so overt, everybody has some kind of disability they got to deal with, right? Even the most straight walking person, whatever, they have something they got to deal with too. So I just got to deal with something that's a little bit extra, but it doesn't really bother me,
I'm with you on that. And when someone says that, I really have to restrain myself, because I really want to tell them off and be like, you can't go through it because you ain't tough. Tony and I, we've been built a different way, that we can overcome these challenges. We can do this. We can embrace whatever we're going through, and then learn from it. We can just inspire people. And some people they don't have that in them. And that really sucks for them, because they don't know just how resilient they can be, in different circumstances. And Tony, you talked about your mother, and you have a sister too, don't you? You have a couple of nieces and nephews, or one nephew, or
I'm Dominican. I got so many of them,
okay,
man.
okay. And the reason why I say that is, I have a niece and nephew, and they've only seen me in this chair. So when they look at pictures of me when I was up and around, so when I was younger, they were exposed to this. So now they are not afraid when they see others who have a disability. I can't tell you how many times, I remember my wife and I went to see one of her friends' kids in a dance recital. So I got a chance to sit by her. It was my wife's coworker's nephew, and this little kid was so scared of me, man. And I'm looking at his mother like, why are you not popping that little kid and tell him to act right? But it's interesting how when my niece and nephew grew up around me, they know, and they're not afraid. They embrace people with a disability, and they know we're normal.
Yeah, it's that's something we all have to deal with, like little kids staring at you and stuff. That till this day I still get that. It's like kind of annoying, but I don't know how my niece and nephews react to other people that are like handicapped, because they see me. They don't. This doesn't even matter to them,
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they probably, if they see somebody else in a wheelchair, it's just something normal to them too.
That's all it is. It's our normal life and things like that. So Tony, what has gotten easier, or what has gotten more, I guess, a a little bit more difficult for you to do since you've grown up over the years, or things that have gotten easier? Is there anything out there that you can share with ones out there who may be dealing with a disability and really are not sure how to face these challenges and deal with? Maybe they're a little bit depressed. What kind of, what are some things that you've been able to achieve, or some things that are more challenging with you now, but you're not letting it stand in your way?
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is gonna sound a little like cheesy, but it's really all about not worrying about your disability. That doesn't define you. It's like a characteristic or whatever, but it's not who you are. The person inside is who you are. So you can't really focus on the outside so much. You got to focus on yourself. And yeah, you're gonna have to deal with certain things. That's just how life is. We no like you're not guaranteed an easy life. Nobody is, right? So you just have to take your circumstances, the cards you've been dealt, and try to make the best of what you can with them. But whatever it is that you're into, focus on that. Don't focus too much on the outside stuff, because even with this, there's still some positivity to it too. So you got to try to look on the bright side as much as possible.
Yeah, and that's true. And I want to sing your praises, man. You're a well-respected member of the media when it comes to the gaming world. You've interviewed some great people in the gaming. We all get free stuff. We get to play. You know, we got a pretty cool life, don't we?
Yeah, we really do. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, like I live like the best life I possibly could. That's why I'm thankful for it. It's like, yeah, I have to deal with some dumb stuff too, but the good definitely outweighs the bad. So I just keep it positive, man, as much as I can.
Absolutely, and we can inspire and help other ones out there, because Tony travels. He's on a plane all the time, and talk about just the challenges of traveling for work. And ones who are up and around, they don't know about checking in the wheelchair, doing all this and that. Well, what are some challenges when it comes to traveling?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we do everything other people do. It's just a different way we do it. Like getting on planes, I have to call ahead of time, reserve the seat, make sure to get me in the right seat, make sure they don't leave my wheelchair in another city, which has happened before.
What?
When I'm taking trains and stuff, I got to make sure the elevators are working ahead of time. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about buses anymore. Before, like they used to have like a mechanical lift. Now it's just literally a ramp. I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's just little things that I need to just be aware of that take a little bit longer than it does for other people. But like I said, since I've been dealing with it my entire life, it's just how things are.
Yeah, I had them break my wheelchair. I flew to Florida, and me, I'm a quad, so I can't push my wheelchair like Tony does. Mine's electronic. They broke my wheelchair, so I was like, okay, how am I going to get around? But just so happened, the engineers and mechanics, they fixed my battery, and it was working like new. I got about $300 in airplane vouchers. That was a cool thing about that. So, but Tony, before I let you go, how can ones follow you, follow some of your writings out there, being in the gaming world? How can they do that?
All right. So the easiest place to find me is on Twitter. That's Romudeth, ROMUDETH. In my bio, there's links to everything, my geek.com articles, and especially my podcast, Throwdown, that's on YouTube.
And Tony, keep doing the great things that you're doing, man. You inspire me, my friend, and look forward to catching up with you and chatting with you again. Now, if you want to continue the conversation, talking about facing the challenge from the disabled side of things, you can jump on and talk about the vocal coming up here later. But Tony, always great talking to you, my friend, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, man. I'll see you soon, man.
Cool. All right, Tony, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here, man.
All right.